Right, hiya lads and lasses, and welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Lads and lasses, and welcome to another edition of A Chuck and a Chat, and this is the final part of Dynamite Dave, the story. Couple of shout outs this morning before we actually get started for Tom Snoopy Wilson, who's a lad, he's a dart player, he's over in Stoke-on-Trent. Now what he does is he does a lot of charity work for prostate cancer. You'll notice on the last video that I made, I had me lapel thing on, and I had me, what do you call it, I had my wristband on and that. So if you can, anybody who can, it'd be fantastic, and I would really appreciate it if you'd either send him some donations for prostate cancer. He's trying to get to a target and he's trying his best. He's been there, he had a charity do, unfortunately I couldn't make it because of vehicle difficulties, and I've sent him a donation myself. If you can either donate direct to him on Facebook, if you go onto Facebook, type in Tom Snoopy Wilson, go down, donate to him direct there, or if you want to donate to the channel, what I'll do is 50% of all the donations for the next month I will hand over to Tom Wilson. Alright, so thanks for that, and in advance of course, hopefully there'll be one or two donations coming. So what we'll do is we'll go over into part one, and part one is about YouTube and how it came about. So over we go. Right, here we are over in part one, and what we're going to talk about today is the YouTube channel and how it came about. Also we're going to do a little bit of a footnote at the end about the Facebook page. So the YouTube channel, obviously you'll be watching it on YouTube. If you're watching this, you'll probably maybe just have happened across it, or maybe you're one of the die-hard fans that I've got, and the friends of the channel, what I call them, which are the guys that have been here from the beginning, and some of them are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They have a lot of input when I put videos on. They give me comments, they send me personal messages giving me ideas for new videos and stuff like that. Absolutely fantastic. So how did the YouTube channel come about? Well, this is how it all came about. I was out in the pub playing a young lad. It was apparently a JDC player. There was two of them actually there at the time, and we were playing in the pub, one of the pubs. I gave him a bit of coaching, the qualifiers for this, and I played for that, but not particularly famous, because that's not the sort of thing that interests me. I'm more interested in helping other people. That's more my forte. I have actually said, and I will do it, is once I've got these knees sorted out, I've got my pre-op now coming along soon, which is 13th of next month, so hopefully sometime just after Christmas or just before Christmas I'll get my operation on my knee. I'm having a new right one to start off with. I'm having physiotherapy for the other one at the moment, but I'm digressing again, as I always do. I'm going on about me instead of how the channel came about. God, I'm terrible, aren't I? Right, so these two lads, I was teaching one of them, giving them a bit of coaching and what have you, and he said, have you heard of YouTube? So obviously I've been on YouTube, I'd watched loads of stuff on it about cars and motorbikes and all that sort of stuff. So I said, yeah, go on there. So he said, why don't you make some videos, why don't you make a YouTube video about darts coaching? So I said to him, I've never even thought about that before. I said I wouldn't even know how to go about it, I wouldn't have a clue. So this was probably about 3 years ago now, maybe 3.5 years ago. And he just said, all you do, he said, you just film it with your phone, because obviously we had smartphones then, they weren't the best in the world, but He says, why don't you just film it on your smartphone, and then all you do is you upload it to YouTube. So I did a bit of research and what have you, went out in the shed, and what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of a clip of it down here, the first video I ever made. There's been some comments on it recently, which is nice, you know, and somebody's actually gone back in the archives, right back to the beginning, and watched the first video, which was about grouping, and yeah. Which is obviously the mainstay of the game. You've got to get those darts close together, otherwise you can't hit anything, can you? Right, so he turned around and said that. I think I went on and I did my research and what have you, and I made that first video. I must have took me about 15 takes, as you'd call them. I just recorded it and then deleted it, recorded it, looked at it again, deleted it, and I just thought, oh no, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. So anyway, I did do things, and I didn't put it on, I just left it on my phone. And our kid came round, call him our kid, that's what we do in the north of England, he's our kid, which is my older brother. And I shown it him, and he said to me, he says, put it up, he says, what harm can it do? He said, you might get 1 or 2 people have a look at it. So I put it up, and I forgot all about it for about 2 or 3 weeks, never even looked at it, because obviously I didn't have the notifications and all that sort of stuff, because I didn't know out about it. And I went back on the video and I noticed that it had, I think it was something like 200 or 300 views. And I think, yeah, I rang our Roy up, he come round to the house, I said, yeah, have a look at this. I said, I can't believe this. So there's like I say, a couple of 100 views on it and what have you, and I was absolutely staggered. So I said to our Roy, I said, I tell you what, I said, what I'll do now is I'll make another one. So I made another one, and the second one was a lot better. What I did was I actually filmed myself talking to the camera, and it was about stance and address and the way different people throw. We had all the movement in it and what have you, and I was just explaining that obviously if you're doing all this dancing about when you're throwing, then you've got to get all that dancing about pin perfect every time you release that dart in exactly the same spot for it to hit the same spot on the dartboard. Otherwise you're using millions of neurons and you're trying to adjust things every time you go to the board. You've got to adjust and be different every time you throw, which makes sense. So anyway, I did that one, which was, I think it's number 2, and I got a massive response off that. I actually got loads I got questions, I got people trying to friend me on Facebook and what have you, and I thought, oh, there must be something in this. And that's how it went on from there. Then I did video number 3, which was a further explanation, and that's why I did the further explanation, because people were saying, what you're saying doesn't make sense. What difference does it make? As long as you're comfortable throwing the way that you want to throw, then what difference does it make? Jockey Wilson used to throw like that, who was an absolutely unique talent, absolutely unique. But you'll notice now a lot of them you've got, and it's just happened last night, Danny Noppert. Look how good he is at times, but look how erratic his throw is, the way that he's curling his arm round and everything. And last night he played, I wouldn't say garbage, but not far off. So it just shows that if you've got something that's solid and consistent, and one unfortunate person who's got the throw but can't handle the pressure is Diamond White, Ian White. He was on again last night. His throw is absolutely phenomenal, but you can see in his eyes when he goes to throw, he's not got, I don't know whether he's not got the hunger for it, or whether he's not mentally strong enough to be as consistent as he possibly can, because his throw is fantastic, mechanical, brilliant, exactly like Raymond van Barneveld. I did a video a while back, I don't even know whether I put it up or not, to be honest with you, but it was about Raymond van Barneveld, and I videoed him up through the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010 and on to today, and his throw has changed very, very little. The few people that have been the best dart players, I believe, in the world ever that have walked the earth. Number 1, Stoneface, John Lowe is one of them. You look at his throw, he throws exactly the same now, and he must be in his 70s now. He throws exactly the same now as he did in 1984, 1982, 1979. Phil Taylor, you go and have a look at his throw. His throw when he was throwing in the 1992, 93 finals, when he first started to really come through. Go and have a look at the way that he threw then and the way that he throws in 2016, which was like his last like proper year, his throw is very, very similar. There's some very tiny changes in it, but that happens as you mature. As you get older and older, your body changes, and as your body changes, you have to make slight adjustments for that. But as long as every time you go to that board, it's mechanical and it's the same, it works the same. I think he's got a very a funny like address to the board, Michael Van Gerwen, but the way that he throws his darts are exactly the same. If you slow it down and watch them, they come out of his hand the same. So obviously he's cracked that. Everybody thinks that Michael Van Gerwen's the best dart player that's ever walked the earth, but he's not, I'm afraid. He's a 2 times world champion, just 2. Phil Taylor, 15 times world champion. It speaks for itself. I mean, and what I know what people are going to say is that Phil Taylor was in an era where there was nobody who could compete against him, but I disagree with that. There was people who could compete against him if they had the right mindset and if they had the right approach to the game. Because you had Barney, who was on his heels a lot of the time. MVG was on his heels when he actually came into the game, which was late on. You'd had a few people there. Keith Deller, when he won the World Championship, that was, I wouldn't say it was luck, but it was a one-off, wasn't it? He was a young lad, and that made him for the rest of his life. But I digress again. So back onto the YouTube channel. So as the YouTube channel started to grow, 1 or 2 people suggested to me that I try and tidy the videos up. So in other words, make them look a little bit more professional than they were. So what I did with that was, I started the PayPal Pay Me thing, so I could get 1 or 2 donations in, and there was some die-hard fans of the channel that I had right virtually from the beginning. One of them was Bill Kipper. There's another one called Carol Ann Fisher. Sorry, I keep calling her Carol Ann Fisher, and there's probably about 6 or 7 of them who actually started when I first asked for donations. They were the first people who actually started to donate to me. There's 2 or 3 of them. Now, it's only a very small amount of people that are on Patreon, and they pay me a certain amount every month, which is fantastic. But what that's done is it's made an enormous difference, and it's thanks to them, not to me, that the videos are of the quality that they are now. They're the ones that have financed me into being able to buy a decent camera, which is what I'm talking to now. The proper software for editing the videos, which is basically, it's a minefield. It's just a learning process. It's a matter of, you try to do the videos, but you try to find out what all the features do as well, and it takes months and months and months to do that, unless you go and have a couple of lessons, which is what I did. I went and had a couple of lessons with somebody who knows how to work software and stuff like that, and they showed me how to do the basics, and then they said, all you do is click on buttons, have a play with this, have a play with that, and it all comes to you, and it does, and things are they exponentially get better and better. And the more I look into it, the more videos that I do, the better I get at it. I can put captions on, I can put those cartoon things on and stuff like that now, but obviously that's not suitable really for this channel, is it? So that was how the YouTube came about. As you see it as today on the video that I'm doing today, I'm running a Sony HD Handycam, which I think is perfect for the job. The video quality is good on it, the sound quality is good on it. The sound quality is not fantastic in this room because it's hollow, and there's a bit of an echo in here, and as you can probably see, I've got loads of shirts up and stuff like that to try and deaden the sound a little bit. It's worked a little bit, but not fantastic. But this is great. This is my room, dedicated to me for doing the darts and what have you. Just something that I'm going to show you. It was my birthday, not yesterday, the day before, and I normally use the arrow click system, as you know, and I'll be going back to that, but my daughter bought me some shafts and some flights, and I think they look proper smart. It's an arrows box of tricks, like a tune-up kit, but it comes with standard flights, which is what I use, and I'd say there's about 2 or 3 sets of flights in there that I'd use. It actually comes with, and it's alright. I mean, I think it was probably around the 10 quid mark, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of flights. You've got 1, 2, 3 sets of stems. You've got rings, a dart sharpener. All comes in a nice little plastic box which you can carry on using. You can use that for time immemorial or until the clip breaks on it. But I think they look quite smart, to be honest with you. Well, that's what they've turned out like. I think the shafts could do with being a little bit shorter, but to be honest with you, it doesn't make any difference the way that I throw them. So next time I throw, I'm going to use these. And again, the spinners, which is what I like, but these, the difference between these and the Arrows click system is just phenomenal. These, you can actually wobble the flight, and when you go to throw, you can feel it rattling in your hand. That doesn't happen with the Arrows click system. Click system's the best set of flights and stems I've ever come across in my life. They take a bit of getting used to because they're strange at first, because a lot of people like me, I love this. I love fancy flights and fancy shafts, beautiful barrels like them, just absolutely phenomenal. But the click system does the job. It doesn't look fantastic, but they really do the job. Right, so I've digressed again, like I always do. Sorry about that, but there we go. And yeah, so what's happened is, like I say, I've got a good camera now, I've got good software. Now what I'm doing is the donations that are coming in, which to be honest with you are very few and far between nowadays, is I'm saving those up to one side, and what I'm going to do is when I go to the UK Open in March, which hopefully, fingers crossed, at least I'll be able to walk by then and I'll be able to get in there. I might not be able to play darts, but it doesn't matter what happens. If I have to go in a wheelchair, I'll be there, because I've been at the UK Open now for the last 5 years or 6 years. I went there when it first started off and it was only half full. Now it's packed to the rafters every day, right the way across the weekend. We go for the extra day, so we go for the 4 days instead of the 3 days. And that, hopefully, if I can stand up, and I can stand and throw the darts, I'll get somebody to go and get them for me. But hopefully I'll be able to get a couple of games in. No matter how rubbish I am, I'll still be there and I'll still be doing it. So if anybody can make it to the UK Open, that'll be fantastic, and you'll always be able to find me. I'll either be in the Sun and Moon, Reds, or in the main arena, and I'm always walking about. Everybody knows my shirt, everybody throughout YouTube and Facebook and what have you, all the people know my shirt. So all you've got to do is come up, tap me on the shoulder, let's have a pint and a chin wag, not a problem. Maybe a couple of legs of darts if I'm over in the thing of the Sun and Moon, or we're over in the sports bar, we can go in the sports bar and have a game of darts in there. So yeah, anybody who sees me over at the UK Open, come and get a grip of me and we'll have a game of darts or two. Right, so that was how the YouTube channel came about. The Facebook page, obviously I've been on Facebook for years before I actually had anything to, well, not before I had anything to do with darts, but before I actually started doing the YouTube videos and what have you. And I probably had about 6 or 7 friends on there. I've probably got about 200 or 300 now. What I do is I just say to people, if you send me a friend's request, the only thing that I will say is if you send me one with a blank thing with no photo on it, or you send me one with something that's stupid like a dog on it or something like that, to be honest with you, I probably won't accept your friendship request. For the simple reason is there's a lot of people out there that are thinking that are like scamming accounts and stuff like that, and obviously the more friends you have and the less particular you are about which ones you accept as friends, then that brings about a whole host of trouble, because somebody could clone my account and then start posting stuff that's obscene and rude and stuff like that, and that's not me. You know, that's not me. You probably never heard me swear on a video or anything like that, because obviously it's not the done thing, because we have young people who watch these. I've got fans all the way down to 10 and 11 years old, and the last thing we want is anything dodgy like that to be going on. Right, so thanks for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. We've been through the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. If you want to go on Facebook, there's 2 ways you can get hold of me. You can type in David John Llewellyn, Manchester, England, and it'll come up. Or you can go on, and I've got a Facebook page now, which I opened about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was something crazy. I couldn't believe it. Something like 38,000 people have looked at it. 38,000 people, unbelievable. Loads of likes. What I've been doing is every video that I put on YouTube now, I put it on YouTube first, and then a day later or something like that, I'll put it on the Facebook page. And if you want to find me on Facebook, It's Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. If you type that in, it'll come up. It's an open page at the moment, so we can have chats on there and stuff like that. I'm hoping to start doing some live videos, so that'll be done maybe once a fortnight or at a certain time on a certain day. Obviously, if you miss it, you can always watch it back on Facebook or YouTube. So that's the next thing, is live feeds. What's coming along in the future, which is another good thing to tell you about, is live darts coaching. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to set up now. I'm in talks with some people to set up a video conferencing system. So what I can do is, you can be in your house with your dartboard. All you'll need is your phone and a stand to put your phone on. They're dirt cheap and they're dead easy to get hold of. That is about £2.50 off the eBay. And all you do is just clip your phone into it, pointing it at your board. Simple as that. Clip your phone into it, point it at your board, and I can give you some coaching over the internet. Obviously, the thing, there will be a charge for that. Don't know what that's going to be yet. It'll be more than affordable for us working class people, because don't forget, I'm a working class lad, so there's no way I'm going to start asking you for stupid money. It's just going to be enough to keep me going the way that I'm going, and hopefully in the path to where I'm hoping this will lead to at some point in the future, is where I don't have to have a full-time job, because I have to do this. I'm working all night, I'm going to bed, getting up, doing filming, replying to emails, doing personal coaching videos. It's like one request after another. A lot of the personal coaching videos now are private. Doesn't seem to have been that many that have come up that want actually to be not famous, but you know, have their 15 minutes and go onto the channel. But that's just one of them things. That's perfectly fine. Don't mind whether it's public or private, doesn't matter. I do a lot of advice over email and what have you. There's still a 6-week waiting list there or thereabouts for that. Sometimes I can, if somebody sends me a message and I'm sat there doing something else, I can reply to them at the same time. All depends on how it goes. So, thanks for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. It's been an episode of a chuck and a chat. It's been the last one in the series for that. And what I've done is, I did mention at the end of the beginning of part 2 that we were going to do something on the mental side between the two of them. Now, the mental side of the game is far too big to just have a 2-minute chat on. It's a very, very big part of the game, and it's a very, very important part of the game. So what's going to happen now is the next episode of a chuck and a chat is going to go on to the mental side of the game. Playing under pressure, the way to prepare yourself for tournaments, the way to prepare yourself if you're just going for a jolly in the pub. Depends on how serious you want to take it. And we'll have a talk about the different mental states, the different ways that you can handle different sorts of pressure, etc. So that'll be coming along soon. I'll do that very soon. And thanks for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave, episode of a chuck and a chat. And we'll see you again soon. And don't forget, lads and lasses, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey.